Hey folks, my name is Cindy, and here is my vlog for EDU 745, week 2. So my personal belief, and the belief that many of us probably hold, is that using technology in the classroom is more about how you use the tools rather than the tools themselves. A science class may have the fanciest tablets, but only use them as a substitute for writing notes. And I may have the coolest new smartboard in my preschool classroom, but that's not going to do me any good because I don't know how to use one of those, nor do I know how to integrate that into my curriculum in a successful way that enhances the learning opportunities. So for my vlog this week, I wanted to tie in some of the learnings from video 2.2 that we saw. We saw some key points that I wanted to keep in mind, and I hope they'll help keep me centered while I'm thinking of different tools I can use in my classroom. The first learning point is that learning needs to be personalized. So learning is a function of use. We learn best from lessons that we can actually use in our lives that relate to our interests and needs. And this is very, very true for students as well. My students will learn best when the technology can further their learning and not just distract from it. So with preschoolers, I want to make extra sure that my students are focused and engaged in practicing skills or being exposed to something that will personally benefit them. This does not mean sitting them in front of a TV or watching cartoons just because I need a break from teaching. So that's what this is not. The second point is that learning is competency-based. So it builds on the skills that the students have already mastered. Many of us have heard of Vygotsky's scaffolding theory. So we meet the students where they're at, and then we scaffold them to the next level with activities that challenge them enough to keep them engaged and actively thinking and using those skills. So I also want the students to be able to learn at their own pace, so I can find tools that promote these kinds of activities. And that is the kind of technology that I would consider using. The third point from this week is that learning happens anytime, anywhere. Children are like little sponges. They just soak up information from their environment. So I'm going to look for ways to expand their learning beyond the walls of the classroom, especially for the age group that I teach, which is 4 and 5-year-olds. They are constantly absorbing new information through either experience or exposure, so I really have to watch what I say and do around them. One way that I've always enjoyed learning outside of the classroom is through field trips. And I'm very blessed at my school that we're able to go on several field trips every year. Actually, this Friday, I'm taking my students to the San Francisco Bay Aquarium. And the last 2 weeks, we've been doing an emergent unit on underwater and sea life. So this will be sort of a capstone experience for them. They'll get to see the fish and the sharks and the sea lions in real life. And they'll also get to experience the tide room, where they'll go inside and they can change levers on the walls to experience the tide in real life. So that's some pretty cool technology that I'm excited to see how they react to. And then the fourth point from this week is that we need to ensure that students take ownership over their learning. For my students' age group, they are in Erik Erikson's third stage of development, which is the development of initiative, and they're building a sense of autonomy and purpose at this age. They should be the authors of their own learning environment. At this age, they're also building self-esteem as they take ownership. They're learning the internal monologue of, yes, I can do it. I'm not too small. I am smart. I am capable. So any tools that I introduce into the classroom should promote this feeling of being able to accomplish a goal. A basic pen and paper in the hands of a 4-year-old can become a beautiful picture, or their written name, or their first attempts at words and images. And these are all amazing things that tools can help them accomplish. So I love to celebrate these little victories with them. And as I'm looking at these learning opportunities from a biblical standpoint, I'm excited to learn more about tools that help my students grow into God's people, the people that God wants them to be. Working at a Christian school gives me more freedom to talk about my faith and share that with my students. And hopefully I'm modeling the fruits of the Spirit in my work. In my aha moments post this week, I talk about the importance of being a good 21st century role model for my students because they're constantly bombarded with apps, advertisements, loud, colorful cartoons, and fast-paced action movies, and cell phones and tablets to distract them, and you name it. So my job is to, as their teacher, is to model being present, being focused, to model quiet time with God, to model how to be smart about what idols I'm worshiping. So if I'm always on my phone or computer during class time, what kind of message is that sending to them? What am I showing is most important? Is it God or is it the tools? So just as we discussed that learning happens anytime, anywhere, I am one of the greatest tools in my classroom. And my students are always going to be watching me as a source of information for how to act. So I want to turn them to God when they have questions before I ever turn them to an internet search engine, although those are really helpful too. So thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to hear your feedback and watch your vlogs. Thanks, you guys.